welcome to Cult Macabre, a phantasmagoric guide to pop culture's dark side. I'm Richie.
And I'm Lee.
Today we are talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984, directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., starring Robert Brian Wilson as Billy Chapman. This movie spawned an entire franchise, none of which lived up to the hype that this gave from the jump. Although in 1984, it wasn't as well received as it is currently.
There was a lot of controversy behind this film when it first came out between its promotional material and its actual theatrical release, which lasted no longer than a week. However, gained $2.5 million on its budget of $750,000 in that 1 week.
Yeah, but the hype, I think, for what it was, a Christmas slasher, kind of helped it exceed expectations, because it's not like this was the first one to do it. There was a movie called Christmas Evil that came out in 1980, which I actually highly recommend to anybody out there that likes Christmas horror. It's pretty fucking good. Aside from Christmas Evil and Black Christmas from 1974, I highly recommend both of those, but I think that Silent Night, Deadly Night kind of hits all of the things that a true cult slasher has.
Yeah, and I know this is considered a classic to a lot of people. I actually watched this one for the first time last year and was very excited to watch it again for this year's Christmas season. Yeah,
and especially right now with the hype of the Cineverse reboot of this film coming out actually this month. I'm pretty excited about that, but we can't get to that without talking about this one. Now, as you mentioned, it had a lot of controversy when it had come out and being banned and everything. It's actually quite alarming the lengths that some of the powers that be went to as far as this goes. Like TriStar Entertainment was looking for their own franchise. Like this was, in the midst of Friday the 13th. In fact, this movie was released the same day as Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was a big time for horror in the early 80s for sure.
Right, but when this had come out, the biggest controversy was like, oh, we can't have a killer Santa Claus and we can't have like the Catholics look bad. And it's like, okay, guys, like we can certainly have all of this. It's a fucking horror movie. Just get over yourselves.
Yeah, and I was sad to learn that they had removed some very good scenes from the movie due to its violence or graphic nature in order to tone it down more for the audience. And we are reviewing the unrated version of the movie, which is the one that we prefer. And let me say, the scenes that they did choose to remove, I'm really sad that they did. I really think they should have been left in for the original film.
And the reason that they did it was because the movie actually wound up getting a soft re-release in 1985, like in May. They pulled it, and then they were like, well, no, here, we'll try it again. And it was like a 75-minute cut.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, like, fuck that shit. And honestly, they used all the controversy to reestablish the tone, I guess, where they were like, hey, this was banned. This was so shocking that we couldn't show it. And like, we can now. And
I really enjoyed watching interviews with the people involved in the movie's creation as well, talking about how the revolt against the movie and the really religious people who would get pissed off and picket the theaters and stuff like that only served to give them better advertising for the crowd that was genuinely interested in the movie to begin with.
For sure. But I think one thing before we get into the movie that lent to it being banned was where they were showing the TV ads prior to its initial release. They were actually like showing it during reruns of like Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that. So you'd be watching like all these family programs and stuff, and then you see this movie about a killer Santa Claus. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into this movie. This is actually available as of this recording on Shudder right now. So if you do have a Shudder account, it has just premiered as of December 1st. And if you don't have a Shudder account, I think right now is a good time to do a free trial, because Shudder is one of our very favorite streaming services, and it's dirt fucking cheap compared to any other streaming service out there right now.
We find so much good shit on there, even stuff we don't expect to find, weren't looking for, didn't have high hopes for. I've been very pleasantly surprised by the amount of content and the quality of content.
100%. So let's jump into Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Was the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent night. Deadly night.
As we mentioned, Robert Brian Wilson stars as Billy Chapman. Now, this movie starts on Christmas Eve in 1971. Billy is going with his brother Ricky, who notoriously got his own movie in the sequel, which I maybe we'll talk about one day. I think it would be worth doing.
Yeah, it'd be definitely more of a humorous piece, but yes.
Sure. I mean, this movie is not without some humor because I feel like some of the humor is somewhat unintentional, but then there are certain shots where the humor is very much a physical thing or a look kind of, like a facial expression or a moment in the film where it's like, oh, fuck, like, which we'll get to. But anyway, Billy is going with his parents and his younger brother to visit their grandfather at a mental facility. And this is where the movie kind of just starts in with what the fuck is going on, because there's really no backstory as to what's wrong with Grandpa. All I know is that he's catatonic, and when they go visit him, pretty much every holiday or birthday or any kind of special occasion, he just sits there. But of all the nights that they go visit him, Christmas Eve, they leave him for just a moment alone with Billy as they exit the room, and Grandpa talks to Billy. Imagine like visiting your grandpa who has never once said a fucking word to you, and this is the shit that he says to you. He just kind of looks at him and you scared, aren't you? Like he's just like really fucking with him.
You know what happens on Christmas Eve, don't you?
It's like, it's so goddamn funny. He's like, Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night. I'd be scared too if I was you. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious right now?
Yep. And then he goes on to ask him, like, have you been a good boy? Are you sure? Were you a good boy all year long?
Yeah, because according to Grandpa, Santa punishes those who are naughty. And it's not even like he's just going to like leave you a lump of coal. He's just not going to bring anything. No, he pretty much implies that Santa Claus is going to fucking kill you.
Punish severely. Yes. He puts the fear of God, or rather the fear of Santa Claus into that fucking child. And he's like, don't worry, Grandpa, I'll be good.
Do you remember CKY whenever the Santa Claus and the chicken would fight each other?
Oh my God.
That's what I picture. If Santa Claus is going to punish somebody, he's just going to put boxing gloves on, beat the shit out of you. Anyway, he's just left scarred with all this new information. But what cracks me up about this scene is that Grandpa is like laughing hysterically to the point of tears about all this shit. Then the family comes back in and he looks at them and the shot cuts right back to him just being straight-faced and completely like he didn't fucking just say or do any of this shit to the kid. And I can't help but feel like as soon as the family leaves, Grandpa just looks at the orderly and slips him like a fucking $20 bill and he's like, thanks a lot, same time next year. Like straight up, he's like, fucking hate talking to these assholes.
He's just trying to bring some joy back into his holiday, man. He lives in a nursing home. You get your jollies where you can.
Do you think that was like his own personal revenge? Just like, they put me here, I'm gonna fuck with them.
That's why the son earlier was like, oh, he's worse than before.
He just gets
Grandpa
worse
just
every
amps
year.
it up every fucking time to see how much they're going to put up with.
It's kind of how in the Dumb and Dumber 2, the sequel to Dumb and Dumber, where Lloyd Christmas purposely catheters himself and just sits there for fucking 20 years.
Yep.
Just for a prank.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5-year-old Billy, leaves with his parents and his infant brother, and they get back in the car, and they're supposed to be heading home to enjoy the rest of their Christmas Eve together. And on the way, Billy, expresses his fear of Santa Claus, of what Grandpa told him. And the mom was just like, you don't think that crazy old fool would say something like that? And Billy goes, you can't say naughty things about old people.
Did you just...
You didn't say the magic word?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. It lives in my head rent-free.
You just Dennis Nedry'd this poor child.
Absolutely did. Oh my God. He deserved it with that bowl cut.
Who had the worst bowl cut, him or Will Byers?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with Will on that one. Yeah. At least the kid in this one looked like the kid from like the Santa Claus. It just seemed fitting, but...
Very true.
But he expresses a fear about that and says, Santa's going to punish you for being naughty. Mom kind of poo-poos it away, but not further down the road, Mom sees something in the street.
Yeah, and there is a Santa Claus standing outside, but we should go ahead and talk about what happens with this Santa Claus prior? This motherfucker just rolls into a convenience store and holds up the clerk, winds up shooting the clerk 3 times, twice in the stomach and once in the head, like very graphically, I might add, and all for like $36 or some shit, like 31 or 36 bucks, because he walks out of the convenience store. He's like, $36 fucking dollars, Merry fucking Christmas. And he fucking leaves. And I'm like, dude, that dude behind the counter got shot over 36 bucks. He really was trying to defend that store for $36. Dude, fuck out of here.
That's unfortunate. $36 back then was probably like $5,000 in today's money. So, I mean, I kind of don't blame him. But he's willing to kill people for an awful lot of nothing, apparently.
So Billy is very obviously freaking out in the backseat because he's like fresh off of Grandpa's tall tales of Santa Claus.
He's begging them to not stop.
But, you know, man, the parents are just like, oh, no, this is so cute. Wake up your little brother. And like, dude, he's a baby. Ricky is a fucking baby.
Shit.
No, he's shitting himself because he has no control over his bowels just yet.
Because he's a goddamn infant.
That's right. So they ask the Santa, they're like, hey, what's wrong? It's like, oh, yeah, I got a little bit of a car trouble. Wouldn't you know, I run into some rotten luck tonight. And he just pulls his gun out and just fucking starts firing on the family as they're putting in the son of a bitch in reverse. The dad just flops out of the car dead. And the Santa Claus proceeds to like beat the shit out of the mom, and he tries to assault her and winds up just cutting her throat. And this is all happening in front of Billy, who is hauled ass across the street behind some shrubbery, as it were. It's really just a bunch of sticks because it's winter and the leaves have died. But he's seeing all this happen, collecting all that trauma, and it's completed by the Santa Claus like holding the bloody knife that he just cut his mom's throat with, walking across the street. Where are you, you little bastard?
You little shit.
And meanwhile, this has all happened, and I need to also point out the amazing score by Perry Botkin Jr. Very well done. There's a lot of anxiety that comes along with some of this stuff because it's very much abrasive synth and everything, along with traditional like Christmassy soft synth pads with it. It's really like a great juxtaposition to kind of show how the Christmas season for Billy is not like everybody else's Christmas season.
Mm-hmm. He balances it really, really well. Like, we talked about it while we were watching the movie, how much we appreciate it.
Unfortunately, Ricky is left in the car crying his ass off. But we cut to 10 years later. They don't have any kind of resolution as to if that person ever got caught, how Billy and his brother were found, you know. But they have both ended up in an orphanage. And unfortunately, like we learned, Billy has a lot of undiagnosed trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. And unfortunately for Billy, Mother Superior, who is the head of this entire orphanage, is a flying cunt who doesn't care, that thinks a good beating and a good Jesusing will fucking fix him. Meanwhile, Sister Margaret, the one with the actual brain, like gives a shit about Billy. And is trying to tell Mother Superior he needs help, but Mother Superior will not listen to this reason whatsoever, and it's so detrimental to Billy.
And you do get the context that she's brought it up multiple times over her time in the orphanage, and Mother Superior is like, I thought you were done with these stupid little ideas or something like that. And luckily, you know, Sister Margaret doesn't give up on Billy at any point throughout the entire film as well. Yeah,
very much so. The peak of the time that we see Billy as a child here is when he happens upon two of the older people. They don't ever really establish if it's like staff or older children that are living here.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm trying to think back to like what they show you of the room that they're in, but I don't remember there being much context for that. But honestly, if they were kids, they were probably close to aging out. My impression is that it was either an older boy and like one of the young sisters, or it was two staff members. But yeah.
Well, yeah, they're having sex in a locked room, and these are like old school doors with like actual, like if you drew a keyhole, if you drew a cartoonish keyhole, that's the type of keyhole that it is. And Billy just sees it And Mother Superior just rolls in there and like shoves him to the side, and she slings the door open and she's like, "What are you doing? Punishment is necessary. Punishment is good." And she just starts beating the shit out of him with this big leather belt, dude.
Yeah, she was literally like, I'm gonna get the Satan out of you or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I was like, God damn, she is really wailing on them. That shit's gotta hurt. They just develop kinks later on in life.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, look, let's be honest. She beat them so badly she paralyzed herself from the waist down. Because that bitch winds up in a wheelchair later on in the movie, and I can only assume that she threw her whole ass into this.
She ain't throwing it back anymore.
Yeah. But it's sad because you see, like, that's another thing I did want to point out, that it is sad at times because even though Billy is positioned to be the antagonist by the time he turns 18 and, you know, the rest of the movie goes along, it's really like a tragic character.
Yeah, that's something I commented on a lot while we were watching through as well, is like, if you really think about the circumstances he went through and what he was forced to endure and the help that he never got but desperately needed, it's a tragedy. Like, it seems like it was an avoidable tragedy even, and he's only a victim of circumstance in this particular situation. And it just kind of avalanches downhill. And she only compounds his fear of the holiday in particular, because they do make a point in saying that his behavior is always bad around Christmas, like particularly awful, and that he usually recovers after the holidays. But Mother Superior goes so far as to try and force Billy onto the lap of a guy visiting dressed as Santa Claus, like literally force him to sit there and say thank you. And he's thrashing and freaking out, clearly having an absolute like panic attack meltdown, to the point where he gets so overstimulated and worked up that he rears back and fucking decks Santa right in the fucking schnoz.
Bloodies
like,
his nose.
Straight up, yeah.
But yeah, we cut to a decade later. It is spring, May of 1984. Billy's 18 years old, and he winds up getting a job at Ira's toy store thanks to Sister Margaret, who is literally trying to help him just integrate into society.
Billy seems to work there for most of the year and apparently does a really good job. You see him talking to customers, helping out children, straightening up the store, lifting these huge, heavy boxes. Like, they do not hold back from showing how strong he is. But you start to see him develop a relationship with one of his coworkers, Pamela, as well. And they go so far as to show some of these dreams that he's kind of plagued with that are overtly sexual in nature, but they're almost always interrupted by some sort of act of extreme violence. And you can see that he has a really horrible reaction waking up from these dreams. And I can't imagine how torturous that is for him as well.
It's always the Santa Claus. It's literally always the Santa Claus that killed his parents that invades his dreams. And he wakes up in a cold sweat and he goes back into the corner of his bedroom, and it kind of reverts to that 8-year-old self where he's sitting in the corner apologizing about it and saying, I don't mean to be naughty. I'm trying to be good.
Poor Billy. Honestly, poor Billy.
Yeah, for real. But we cut to Christmas time. Like, it's a montage, and you can't have an 80s movie without a montage, it seems like. But I like this montage, actually. It's very nostalgic, and I like the way they actually set up establishing shots of the toy store.
Yeah, you get to see all the animatronics all lit up and moving, all the Christmas lights going up. They unravel this huge, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Santa Claus banner, which Billy has a very visceral reaction to. Like, there's no mistaking it looking at his face. It's like almost like he goes pale and sweaty and starts to like look sick.
He's like, fuck. He just sits there. He's like, hell yeah, guys, this is great. I love this. What the fuck is that?
Heavy breathing.
Yeah.
We end up finding out that the employee that was originally booked to play the store's Santa and sit with the children, ask them what they want for Christmas, all that good stuff, he's out. He is not showing up for his shift. And of course, Billy's very eager to please his boss, Mr. Sims, who owns Ira's Toys. And Mr. Sims sets him up as the store's Santa. I actually really love the scene where they're looking at him fully dressed in the costume in the mirror, and his face is just like, it's like he's not even there. He's fucking dissociating. There's no recognition going on, and he's giving these very curt, like, one-word answers. You can tell that this just is making him feel disgusting.
Yeah, and like before all this happened, his coworker Andy, who works in the back of the store with him, just fucking hates on him for no reason.
Andy's a dickhead.
He is a dickhead. They're having this conversation right before Mr. Sims comes along, and he's like, "Oh, hey, we need you to do this." It's just like, oh, and that's what I meant about like some of the humor is a little like it's dark. Some of this stuff you can't help but laugh at, like the way that they show him in the Santa suit. I want to talk about this because it is kind of funny. It's Mr. Sims and the other coworker that suggested that he should be the Santa Claus. And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely fat and jolly." And it's just showing them, and then they cut to a shot of them from behind, and they have Billy from behind, but you see him in the mirror.
And he is anything but.
The fucking face, like you said earlier, he's just like dissociating, but it's just, I know in his head, he's like, these motherfuckers, like, am I a joke to you? Like, for real? Like, is Billy a joke to you guys?
Literally all I hear in my head when I see him looking in that mirror is, all around me are familiar faces. It's just, I can't.
Seriously, though. It sucks because, like, you can see the internal struggle where he is trying like hell to hold back all of this shit because they put him in the sleigh and all these kids are sitting on his lap. And this one girl in particular, he's just struggling with because he's like, please, like, he's pretty much like, please stop, please be good. Like,
stop kicking me.
And he just very sternly whispers to her, he's like, I punish naughty children. I punish those who are naughty. Do you want to be punished? Like, he's so like, please stop before I fucking stab you. And he just like hands her a candy cane. He's like, here you go. Fuck off.
She does that real stereotypical like, oh, scared, chews on nails thing, which cracks me up. And then she immediately runs to her mom and she's like, Mommy. You could tell that she did not have a good time.
It cracks me up though because the other parents like, he's so good with children, isn't he?
He really knows his way around kids. But they do get through that portion of it, and, you know, it's 7 o'clock, it's closing time on Christmas Eve, and Mr. Sims goes over and locks the door, and then it is party time, motherfuckers.
7 o'clock! It's over! Time to get shit-faced!
He wastes no time in immediately bringing out the booze and taking the first shot. Dude was looking forward to it all year long.
I mean, can you blame him, though? He was probably sick and tired of, like, all the... Because you know those children they were showing sitting on Santa's lap were running with their arms out, knocking shit off the fucking shelves, and he was having to pick it back up and put it back on the shelf.
He didn't have to do that. That's Billy's job. Billy was cleaning up. Oh, yeah, I guess for that particular day, you're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be tired after that?
Right. But this is kind of like Billy's first taste of like alcohol because they actually like give him whiskey or something because he gets offered it during the montage earlier by his coworker Andy, and he's like no, he's like holds up a carton of milk.
I got my milk.
That dude, they really positioned Billy to look like the all-American boy next door.
Absolutely, I was gonna say the same thing.
Which to his credit, like it's so sad that it comes to this because he was fucking thriving in this environment so hard, and then this night happens, and oh my god, like everything that he has worked towards is just down the shitter so fast.
And you start to see this build up of, I think I referenced it as you get to see all these buttons being pushed with Billy over a period of time. During the party, the girl, Pamela, the coworker he was interested in, you kind of see, what was his name, Andy?
Yeah.
Flirting with her, like off and on camera. And she's like, you know, giggling and looks a little reluctant at first. And then you start to see them slowly sneak away to the stock room in the back. And Billy's over there looking like a kicked puppy. Like he is super upset about this. And Mr. Sims comes over, keeps encouraging him to imbibe. Keeps pouring him more alcohol and keeps saying, oh, you know what happens on Christmas Eve now? It's your job. You know what you got to do.
It's like,
take care of it, Santa.
Yeah, he's like, do you know what Santa does? He's like, yeah, I know what Santa does. Just real dry.
I was about to say, Santa tries to fuck my mom. That's horrible.
Yeah, I know what Santa does. He tries to fuck my...
Where is that referee? He was trying to fuck on me.
That Santa Claus tried to fuck on me.
We manage a wrestling reference in almost every episode.
Good.
But you see his expression is still that like very disconnected, hardly paying any attention to anything around him. I mean, outside of paying attention to Pamela about to get nailed in the back room.
Oh,
but
gosh, yeah, well, I mean, she don't want it.
yeah, she does make that very clear. But you see it starting to kind of like fall into place for Billy, where he's like, yeah, I'm Santa. I got a job to do, It starts, you don't hear the mental dialogue there, but he has a lot of very good facial expressions that kind of allow you to follow along with what's going on in his head.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, is that like the combination of him being in the suit, him witnessing another like attempted assault on a woman, especially one that he has unrequited feelings for. Let's, point that out as well. And like you said, yeah, he realizes that now that he is a Santa Claus, he has the power to punish. So he snaps and just yells the word naughty. And then like freak of nature strength, okay? Dude grabs a set of Christmas lights, runs over to Andy, wraps it around his neck, and just with one arm, like he stances and just hoists him by his neck with one fucking arm and just kills him right there.
And there's some blood trickling down from his throat, like implying that the lights are cutting into his neck and whatnot. And, poor Pamela, after being pretty much assaulted by asshole Andy, is cowering in the corner, not only terrified with what I'm sure she just went through, but watching her other coworker, who is normally very nice and sweet and calm and collected, totally fucking rage out and murder the man right in front of her. I really appreciated as well watching the interviews and hear them talk about having to get creative with the writing in terms of wanting to integrate kills, specifically using like Christmas memorabilia and decorations and stuff like that. And I do think, as we talk about it more, they did a really good job with that. I thought it was well shot for that scene, especially with the Christmas lights.
But he winds up killing Pamela with a box cutter, like right in the stomach, and just slices her clean open with it.
She didn't stand a chance.
No, and then Mr. Sims, who has been drunkily, I might add, singing Christmas carols in the front of the store with his other coworker while this has been happening, is actually a little comedic because, fuck, how many goddamn Christmas songs do these two people know? Like, they just know everything. They're like the fucking Encyclopedia Britannica of Christmas songs.
I'm telling you, they were making some of them up at that point. Yeah, but Mr. Sims does get like a little hint of like a scream somewhere, and he kind of doubts himself and turns to his employee and is like, "Did you hear that?" And she's like, "I didn't hear nothing."
Yeah, Miss Randall.
Miss Randall, yes, that's right. He ends up kind of like stumbling drunkenly back there anyway, leaving Miss Randall up front, and he's like, "Oh, who's back here?" and looking around and doesn't really see anything, but he hears this little subtle jingle bells somewhere in the dark.
It's so funny because it's on Billy's boots. Yeah. Like Billy just
and
jingles.
His sleeves.
Yeah, he just jingles everywhere he goes. It's kind of funny, actually.
You could say he jingled all the way.
He did jingle all the way. He jingled all the way to that fucking stock room with a hammer. This was one of my favorite kills in the movie. He takes the hook end of this hammer and just buries it right in his fucking head.
Oh, just immediately. He was donezo.
But you don't see it until Mrs. Randall discovers the body.
She comes back looking for Mr. Sims and walks back there, looks around and sees him and just screams. Screams her fucking head off.
Yeah, and she goes to call the police, and then Billy cuts the phone line with an axe. And what I liked about this was that he was stalking her too, and I remembered the interview with him. That he was talking about how he really enjoyed that kill the most because he got to actually be kind of a typical slasher villain and stalk the prey.
Which this was one of the removed scenes that we were only able to watch with the unrated version. And when you're watching it, you can tell what scenes are added in. They tried to slip in there because there's definitely like a quality loss there. But he's like walking very slowly, very purposely through the store. And I believe he's reciting The Night Before Christmas as he's like walking through. And it's such a good scene. And it adds like this level of like creepy awareness for Billy. And he spots what he thinks is her hat at the end of the aisle, and he gets all the way around and pulls his axe back and swings as hard as he can. Come to find out she had, tried to fool him and put her little hat pin on a stack of boxes, and she jumps out from a huge stack of boxes in the corner and tries to like kick him or something and then book it out of the store while he's like distracted. I don't think she gets very far though.
No, she's trying to break the window with the axe. Like, she's trying to break the window down with it, and she can't do it. And Billy bow and arrows her ass.
Shoom, and she just kind of collapses in front of the glass, which the glass is completely painted with art, so you can't actually see through, and no one outside can see into it. So honestly, like, that's a pretty good cover.
Right. I also loved the addition of them having close-up shots of the nutcrackers with their mouths wide open when she's screaming.
The reaction shot, yeah, that was really good. And another, like, nice bit of intentional humor that was put in there.
So Billy grabs the axe and he just leaves because he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go on a punishing spree in this town.
He's ready to punish.
He is. And then Sister Margaret unfortunately comes to pick him up from work and finds the corpses and just, yeah.
She immediately knows that something crazy is going off the rails. She actually called the store earlier to check up on Billy. And Andy is the one who answered the phone, and he made some joke about how Billy doesn't work in the back anymore because he's too busy ho-ho-hoing up front. And you see the realization on her face literally within an instant that she knows that this is just something horrible brewing because Billy is being put in a situation that is high stress. So she books it to the store, and yeah, she's greeted with all of that bloody aftermath and pretty much immediately goes to the police, I believe.
Yeah, and here throughout the rest of the film, we have a lot of back and forth between Sister Margaret with the main police detective and all of the incidents that Billy winds up getting himself into, one of which where he just rolls up onto this house where it's these two teenagers, one of which is played by Leanna Quigley, who is a scream queen in low-budget horror films and is very well known in the horror community. And she's been in a ton of movies, like this one being one of many.
She spent almost the entire role completely naked.
Man, she spends a lot of her time in roles with no top on. Like, she's kind of like...
I didn't recognize her. You did have to point out to me that she was kind of more on the well-known scale when it comes to some horror films, so I'm going to have to keep an eye out for that.
But yes, these two teenagers that they're like trying to have sex on this pool table, and the little sister keeps getting shooed off to her room. And then Denise, who is Leanna Quigley, she is like, yeah, the cat wants to come inside because they hear like the jingling of the collar, which is not, you know, they set that up very nicely actually, because you think, oh, well, no, there is a cat. This is another one of those kind of intentional / unintentional humor spots where the cat finally comes into the door. And she turns around, she turns back around, the door's open, and you just see Billy, punish, and he just rolls in and fucks the door up.
That is exactly how he says it, by the way. That's one of the biggest humor points in the entirety of the film. We were laughing our asses off between him going, punish, and then like breaking down doors or hurting somebody, or him going, naughty. Like, it's so comedic. It's hilarious, and somehow still fits like completely with everything that's going on.
Punish.
It never took me out of it, to be honest with you. I just thought it was fucking hysterical and rolled with it.
Yeah, but he rolls in there and he just starts wrecking ass everywhere.
Wrecking ass.
He really does. Like, so the best kill in the movie that got really cut down. And in fact, in my opinion, and I think maybe anybody else that has seen this movie several times would agree that this is the most iconic kill in this movie, is when he picks up Denise, like with no effort, by the way. Like,
she is just a little thing.
Yeah. There is a mounted deer with like huge antlers, and he impales her spine first on this thing, and the horns are protruding out of her stomach. And this is part of the footage that was reinserted, and you can see like the practical effects of the horns like going through her guts, and he's just slowly like shoving her on to these, and it's really ouchies inducing.
It makes you cringe. It definitely makes you cringe, but it is extremely well done, and I wish they would have kept it in, but I guess he just had to help her be even hornier, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
He makes quick work of the boyfriend afterwards as well. They do a really good job of making sure to show there's a little bit more of a struggle.
Yeah, they tried to make it like realistic, where it wasn't like him just easily like beating the shit out of everybody. Because I mean, if he's really in a real fight, like this makes more sense of it, right? We get us a good old fashioned defenestration in this fucking scene.
I was so excited to learn this word. I'm a weirdo, but I get excited to learn strange words like that. And you said it, and I was like, what? Give me the definition right now.
Yeah, when we were watching this, like, Billy throws Tommy through the fucking window of the second story out of the house. And brutal kill, by the way, because the way that Tommy lands, he basically like lands rib and spine first on a giant unbroken sharp pane of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got glass shards through his face, his eyeball, his sides. Like, it's bad.
It's a good kill.
And I literally leaned back. I was like, nothing like a good old-fashioned defenestration. And Lee was like,
Man, I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid.
I was excited, though. And I remember later in the movie, they mentioned the window thing again. And I was like, tell me what that word was one more time. I need to glue it into my brain.
Yeah, defenestration, for those of you who do not know, is the act of throwing somebody through a window. Like, legitimately, that's the definition of it.
Mm-hmm. And throw him out of a window he does. And, of course, with all this commotion, Denise's younger sister, Cindy, is woken up. And she comes out of her room. And of course, she only sees Santa Claus. And, she's all excited and happy to see him. And he kind of like creeps over, and he's still being like really quiet. And he asks her if she's been a good girl this year. And she says, yes, Santa, I have. And he goes, have you been a good girl all year long? And she very confidently says, yes, I have, Santa. And you see him like sneaking his hand into his pocket, and you're thinking, the first time I watched this, I was worried he was going to like murder the girl, and they just were going to cut the scene and like not actually show it. But he pulls out the box cutter that he used to murder Pamela with and presents it in his palm as a gift for the little girl. And she like gives him this look and very slowly takes it from his hand. And you can see it's still like covered in blood. The blade is out, and she's just kind of looking up, and it's just like, thanks. It reminds me of the scene of the kid from Nightmare Before Christmas pulling the severed head out of the box and presenting it to the parents, just kind of like, okay, here it is.
Show us what you got for Christmas.
Right.
A knife. No!
Let me see what you have. A knife.
No! But Billy doesn't stick around for too much longer after that.
No, he makes a break for it, and he's just walking down the highway, jingling along, which I think is hilarious. Because we watch everything with subtitles, and when he's walking, you see the subtitles, and it just says Billy Jingles. It's pretty damn funny.
I love it when it says shit like jingles menacingly, or like just. I'm such a subtitle person. I'm a deaf bitch. I literally have hearing loss in one of my ears, so I have to have that. It has brought so much more humor into my life, genuinely.
Oh,
We start to see the police starting to piece things together at this point in the background with Sister Margaret. She's definitely collaborating with the police, who have discovered the bodies at the toy shop, and shortly after, the 2 more bodies at Denise's house. They point out like, oh, there's definitely some sort of pattern here. Like, we need to figure out what the next move is going to be. If we can predict that, then we can catch this guy. Sister Margaret kind of has one of those aha moments, and then they realize that Billy is likely on his way to visit Mother Superior and get revenge for the way that she treated him as a child.
Yeah, and along the way, we get a few Santa Claus fake outs because the police think they've cornered Billy in another house, when in reality it's just some dad that's climbing into his daughter's bedroom in a full Santa garb to like surprise her, I guess.
She's going to be traumatized for a little while.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Billy winds up happening upon these 2 kids. There's these kids are sledding, or I should say they're attempting to go sledding. They get attacked by Bob and Mac, who are a couple of bullies, and they just beat the shit out of them, kind of, and they just bully them off, and they're just like, well, we're going to go sledding now. And Mac goes down the hill, and he's like encouraging Bob to follow suit.
I love this scene.
And he does, and this is another one of the best fucking kills in the movie, and I think this one might be a little more well-known, aside from the antelope.
I saw GIFs of this scene before I ever saw the movie.
See, that says something right there. You could probably find this on like YouTube poops, or like any kind of like, unintentional humor reels for cinema. But Bob is sledding down the hill.
Bob is sledding down the hill? He's bobsledding?
He is bobsledding. Okay. See, that is a joke there.
God damn it.
So he's almost to the bottom, and then Billy just appears out from behind a shrub, and he just punish. Or like
It's
naughty
so
or some shit. He's
ridiculous.
like, it's either punish or naughty, one of the two. I'm just choosing punish because I think it's fucking funny. Just punish, and he fucking just cuts his head clean off.
It cracks me up. And I remember us, finding out how they filmed this scene as well with one of the camera guys was actually kind of almost laying completely on their back on the sled and holding a cordless camera tightly to their chest. And they're going down the hill on the sled and trying to film the actor playing Billy making this swing, and he had to get it right over the camera in order for it to look right with the angle that they were filming it at. And I think he said they got it on like the first shot.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Yeah.
Yep, he knocked it right out of the park. And whenever I say he knocked it right out of the park, old Bobby boy there has lost his fucking head. And this is another one of the parts where they kind of inserted footage, because the footage they inserted was some of the head rolling down the hill and then headless Bob, sliding down on the fucking sled the rest of the way. It's so goddamn corny looking, but it's funny because it's just a headless like torso. Just
Imagine being known as Headless Bob. You do be looking like the torso from 13 Ghosts, though, just taking a little sleigh ride going down.
Yeah. That was definitely a sleigh ride, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, no kidding.
Somehow the other kid gets out of this without being murked.
Yeah, maybe he just like fucking booked it.
Sure he
I'm
did.
assuming that Billy just, got that kill in and went off, or maybe he went back and killed the other kid
No,
or
he's gone.
something. He's gone.
He's gone, dude.
He's gone.
Yeah, because like not long after that, we start making our way to the actual orphanage, because now at the orphanage, the children are waiting to see Santa Claus, and then Mother Superior is now in a wheelchair, which I gotta tell you, man, why is there a blanket on her lap if she can't feel anything down there?
I couldn't tell you. I don't really have an answer for that one.
But does she really feel anything at all, the fucking cold bitch?
Maybe it's just like, so when there is like a breeze from opening those doors, it doesn't fly her skirt up.
Ew.
It just keeps it down.
Ugh.
It's a weight.
This is kind of where shit gets really fucked up, though.
And really funny.
It is really funny. So one of the police officers that they've already been dispatched to the orphanage, keeping an eye on the building, they see the kids are playing outside, and they see what is presumably Billy rolling up on the kids at the playground, and they're all like, Santa Claus, and the fucking police officer's like, get away, and he shoots him.
He straight up shoots Santa like 3 fucking times in the back, right as this like child is like reaching up to greet Santa. Bam, bam, bam. And she's like got this horrified expression on her face. And you end up finding out through a little bit more dialogue that this was the deaf pastor.
This is the Father O'Brien.
Yeah,
it's
Father O'Brien.
It's the
Thank
fucking
you.
head priest at this church who is deaf. Because they were saying this over the radio, because Sister Margaret's in the police unit with the officer that's about to go respond to this shooting. And they're like, oh, the suspect doesn't match the description. He's much older. And then Margaret has this like look of just sadness and horror on her face. She's like, oh my God, that's Father O'Brien. He was our Santa Claus this year. And they're like, well, we told him to stop and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, he's deaf. Like, you dumb fucks.
It's horrible. And they end up like ushering all the kids inside the building after this point. And Mother Superior and the police officer are talking inside, and she's berating him. And he's like, well, I'm going to go, march the perimeter and make sure everybody's safe.
She's like, nothing you've done here has made anyone safe. Like, just really like laying into
No
him.
one's going to get in here that doesn't belong here. Mother Superior's a fucking cunt. Like, let's just be real. So he goes outside and he's, tracking the perimeter, and he gets like really sus of some areas. He's going around corners all slow, and he sees this flapping door to this like building just in the backyard of the orphanage. And
it's like some kind of like outdoor basement thing.
Yeah, because it's like a stairway leading down, and it seems like some sort of like boiler room or heating room or something. So he's got his gun drawn. He's going all the way down. He's checking it out. And there's all these like leaky, steamy pipes. And it's really creepy and dark and dank. And the music and the lighting and the pacing of the scene is very tension building. So you're like expecting something to happen while he's down there. And he searches the whole thing and doesn't see anything. And he kind of looks relieved. And he's starting to head back up the stairs. And right as this motherfucker hits the top of the stairs, Billy swings around, punish, and just axes him right in the fucking chest.
Fucking punish.
And the next scene you see is that cop looking like a fucking Tetris piece, hanging out in all different directions with an axe in the middle of his chest, just mouth open, eyes open.
My man's just turned into the letter S for Santa Claus at the bottom of the stairs. The dude's all broken. He's just like, yeah, yep, you dead.
Yeah. He was like, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah. Aw.
Gotta back that axe up.
Yeah. Well, Billy starts walking to the orphanage, and I guess he just has grabbed an extra axe along the way. Oh no, he does grab the axe and go in, because the fucking establishing shot before he walks into the orphanage is just the shot of this fucking poorly built snowman that you made fun of.
I did make fun of the snowman. I said that was the most depressed looking fucking snowman I've ever seen in my life.
I was reminded of Cannibal the Musical, and they go, let's build a snowman. We can make him taller. We can make him not so tall.
And he beheads the poor snowman. See, he saw what I saw and was like, I gotta put this bastard out of his fucking misery.
And that's what we were cracking up at, because the establishing shot is like, it's the snowman, but then the axe comes into the shot and it's dripping blood, and then it turns sideways and it's just Billy walking up and he just decapitates the snowman. He's like, fuck this snowman. Fuck you kids. Dude, I've noticed something about a lot of these movies we've been talking about recently, and there's a lot of fuck them kids moments in these movies.
Apparently. We probably said that like the last 3 or 4 episodes at least.
For real though, fuck them kids. Santa don't play no shit.
Santa ain't joking around this year, motherfuckers.
No. And I love the way he walks up to the door. He's just like, oh, we forgot to say something about Billy's appearance. Like, they purposefully wrote it to where the Santa Claus beard is not covering his face this entire time.
Yeah, so he's definitely kept the Santa costume on the entire time, and the beard is on him. Like, it's like hanging out below his chin.
It's like Amish Santa.
Yes, and they do this on purpose because the directors want you to be able to recognize his face. They want you to know that this is Billy as the Santa killer character, essentially. If you're obscuring the character, it's like you're taking away from the character.
Yeah, and they want you to like see that this is honestly really a traumatic mind fuck that he's going through this entire time. So he's in the window and he's just like waving at the kids, and this kid just scoots right past Mother Superior and just opens the door. She just wheels herself around. She's like, no!
Like a fucking wicked witch.
Yeah, and she keeps telling him, she's like, in front of all these kids, she's like, there is no Santa Claus. And I'm like, oh yeah, he got you, bitch.
Which I will say that I got the distinct impression that she was very obviously talking to specifically Billy in that moment. You know, trying to tell him there is no Santa Claus. It's like trying to tell him there's nothing to be afraid of, when she just has denied everything awful that's happened to this guy in the first place, which is, it seems so demeaning and so dismissive. It makes me feel even worse for Billy in this situation.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, like the one thing about this movie that pissed me off is the fact that Mother Superior just got to do all this nasty, horrible shit to him and fucking got away with it, because as Billy is about to just bring this axe down on her, he's gunned down by the police officer that was accompanying Sister Margaret, and he dies in front of his brother, who's there, might I add, who recognizes him in that moment. He dies, and when he looks up at Sister Margaret, who's trying to comfort him while he's dying, just says, you know, you're safe now, Santa is dead.
And I mentioned
Santa Claus is gone, one of the two.
Yes. And I mentioned how good the actor who played Billy's facial expressions were throughout this entire movie. You see a really big transition while he's doing the killer Santa shtick. He's very, like I said, his gaze is very disconnected, but very focused on what he's doing at the same time, like mentally disconnected. He doesn't blink a whole lot, which I feel like adds to that as well. But the second he gets shot and he's laying there, like saying his dying words to Sister Margaret, you see that there's a softening in his eyes, like a softening in his expression, and it's like sad and almost regretful, and I feel like that further adds to it as well. It's like he was fighting the trauma for all of them somehow, and I'm sure in his head he kind of thought that's what he was doing too.
Yeah, and now that this has happened, as he was falling down, Mother Superior like jerks her arm away from him in such like a really cold way. Like she just
had to be a bitch one more fucking time before he died.
Yeah, I fucking hate that woman. Which is proof positive the actress did a great job in that role, because I fucking hated that character so much. And the movie ends with Ricky Billy's little brother, who watches him die, and he looks down and then he looks back up at Mother Superior, who's very, like, I think she recognizes what's happening because Ricky is fucking furious, and he just looks at her and he just says, naughty, and then they fucking, like, freeze frame,
yeah.
and then the score kicks in. And that's Silent Night, Deadly Night 1984, which was followed up not long after with Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which is actually the story of Ricky, where it picks up with him. And if you'd like for us to talk about Garbage Day, we will more than likely do it, but...
So many people are familiar with that meme and have no fucking clue where it comes from. You wouldn't guess that it was from a Christmas movie from that one little bit.
And here's the thing about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. It's so much more than Garbage Day.
It is.
There's a lot of unintentional humor in that movie, and it is a great, like, laughable sequel. However, I will point out that, like, if we do talk about it, it's basically just Silent Night, Deadly Night with some new footage shot and added onto it, because they essentially go over this fucking movie again.
It feels like a big rehash, but I would like to cover that at some point. It definitely falls in the category of so bad it's good for me, which makes it perfect for us, I think.
Yeah, so the franchise, I want to point this out before we leave, actually. So the franchise does have, this one has 4 more sequels, so it is 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first 3 are the same narrative from this story, and the other 2, Part 4 and Part 5, have literally fuck all to do with any of this stuff, right? And there was a remake in 2012 that, and it was just called Silent Night, but in my opinion, and again, I know there might be some people out there that really like that one, but it was fucking abysmal.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It felt very soulless for me. It didn't do it for me. Like, I see what they were going for, but it didn't do it.
It didn't have, like, the quote charm that this one had for you.
No,
That's unfortunate.
I'm looking forward to the one that's about to come out this month, produced by Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting. And I would love to, if it comes to theaters here, and I'm saying that because we did get Terrifier 3 in theaters here locally, but we didn't get the Toxic Avenger. It was the same company, the same production company, but we didn't get Toxic Avenger here. In fact, Toxic Avenger was playing like 2.5 hours away from us. But if we get Silent Night, Deadly Night 2025 here, I believe we are planning to discuss that at the end of the month. So we'll have time for it to have been in theaters and for everybody to have hopefully gone to see it. But I would love to talk about that one and kind of like see where it falls in with this one, because Silent Night, Deadly Night 1984 is one of my absolute favorite Christmas horror movies. I watch it every year. I watch this one. I watch Christmas Evil. I watch Code Père Noël, aka Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus. Like, those are like 3 essential Christmas horror watches for me.
This has become my favorite Christmas horror. I can't say that I had like a whole lot of them that I was exposed to when I was younger because, you know, protective parents and whatnot. But this is definitely a yearly watch for me now. And I was very excited to get into it again.
Where does this sit for you? And it's not even so much as, and I mean objectively, like where would this sit for you? Because like me objectively, I can sit here all day and say like this is easily like a 4 out of 5 for me as far as like this is personal, but I can objectively look at it and say it's probably a 3 at best. Like if you're looking at it from just like, is it just a good movie or is it a good genre film? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if we are looking at objectively, I would say it's a solid 3 out of 5. If we're talking about on like a personal scale, this is a 4 out of 5 for me because I just enjoyed it that much. Like I like the comedic bits. I like the way it was shot. I like the story. Yeah, I would give it definitely a higher score.
In my opinion, for me, it's like if I own a physical copy of something, I like it.
Right.
You know, if I go out of my way to buy it, I love it. I have the Shout Factory Blu-ray uncut of this. It's so good. I highly recommend if anybody can find a copy of it out there. That's, you know, whether it's Arrow Video. I know that one's out of print, and I'm pretty sure this Shout Factory one might be out of print. There's been so many re-releases of this film. I know that most recently was a 4K UHD cut of the 40th anniversary edition. However, like we said at the beginning of this episode, if you don't find it physically, it is streaming right now on Shudder. So if you have a Shudder account, give it a watch. If you don't have a Shudder account, this is a great opportunity for you to do a free 1-week trial. Trust me when I say we're not even sponsored by Shudder. We just fucking love the streaming app. Just give it a shot. You'll probably find something if you're into horror. You'll find something. There's literally something for everybody there. We have Christmas horror content coming to you weekly for the rest of the month before our break in January, so come back next week and the week after that and the week after that. The final episode of this month will be literally released on Christmas Day, so fear not. We have a present for you.
Cozy up next to your, streaming service, fireplace, video of choice, and, throw us on in the background and see how that goes for you. It's a nice spooky way to spend Christmas.
You need to be good out there, because if you're not, we will have to punish you.
Severely.
For past, present, and future episodes of Cult Macabre, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on the video, or leaving a comment down below. Any engagement helps. And if you'd like to follow us on any of our social media platforms, all of this information can be found in our Linktree link in the show notes below.
So if you'd like to join us for more of pop culture's dark side, sign the Black Book and join the cult. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
We'll see you next time.